Welcome back to day 12 of the Joy Reboot, and today we're talking about belief systems, or what I call your blueprint. Every single one of us has a blueprint for how life works, how relationships work, how money works, how our careers, parenting works, love, conflict, success, happiness, how everything is supposed to look. We didn't consciously choose these blueprints, we just absorbed it, okay? So our parents, our upbringing, the culture we are in, what we observed growing up, and what we're exposed to over and over and over again. And we start to look for evidence in the real life, in our adult life, to prove these blueprints true. And we live our life based on these blueprints. And a lot of unhappiness can actually come from it because life doesn't always match our blueprint, our belief system. So let me give you an example. I once worked with a couple who was struggling in the relationship. One person was very unhappy because their partner didn't argue with them. They didn't emotionally engage with the argument during the conflict, and they would just shut down and walk away. And to her, that meant that they didn't care. And why did she think that? Because her blueprint said that love equals emotional intensity. And if someone cares, they're going to argue and fight. And then they have makeup and everything is good. That was the pattern that she learned. But her partner had a completely different blueprint, one where calm meant safety and disengaging meant respect. And neither person is wrong, they just had clashing blueprints. And this happens all the time. And it can show up in relationships, friendships, parenting, work, leadership. We get frustrated when someone doesn't behave the way that our blueprint says that they should. So the real question then becomes, do we try to change them, or do I examine and update my blueprint, or do you change your environment to fit that one that matches your blueprint more closely? And most of the time, changing other people doesn't work, but shifting your expectations, your perspective, your beliefs absolutely does. So the empowering part is your blueprints are not fixed. Like I said, we didn't ask for these blueprints, and we can always update and change them. And research shows that even small actions can actually begin to rewire your belief systems. For example, some organizations know that by wearing a pin or signing a pledge, or even the smallest bit of public, support of something, even like as a sign in your front yard, or just like signing signing your signature to agree to something, it tells your brain that you agree to that and you're now committed, and that's your belief. So that small action creates the belief, more exposure to it creates the belief, and that small commitment reinforces this new belief. And so that's once you start seeing evidence that contradicts your blueprint, you can start to crack it. And I see it a lot with money and opportunity. A lot of people say, and you maybe even said this in the last 48 hours, there's just no opportunities right now. The economy is so bad, like you can't grow a business anymore. There's no jobs out there. But when people like that are exposed to people who are succeeding, who are growing their business, who are finding jobs and getting promoted, their blueprint begins to shift. They start thinking, oh, well, maybe my belief is actually not true. And it starts opening the door to change. So today's challenge is I want you to choose one part of your blueprint or belief that's not serving you, something that's blocking you from happiness or taking away your happiness, and ask yourself, why do I believe this? Where did this belief come from? Is it actually true, or is it just something familiar? And is this belief actually helping me, or is it holding me back? Then ask, what action can I take to begin shifting this blueprint? And that might be just exposing yourself to new evidence of other people who are breaking your blueprint, changing how you interpret the situation or your perspective of the situation, just writing down a new belief and committing to it, reframing it to see someone or something a little bit differently, or actually just changing your environment to fit your blueprint. So maybe if you have a coworker or something, and you don't always have this choice, that doesn't fit your blueprint, maybe you change departments or something like that, or you change your perspective about this coworker or the way that you work with them, right? So there's different options to start changing your blueprint. Just writing it down and signing it, that simple act of commitment, matters more than you think. If you want to go deeper, you can choose more than one belief, but definitely start with one and start with doing the action that you write down. Small shifts can make massive changes over time. And your blueprint shapes your happiness. And that's why you're here. We want to be happy, right? So today, choose which parts of your belief system, your blueprint, stay, and which ones evolve. And I'll see you tomorrow.